This is my first video update coming to you from a rainy Athens, Greece. This Tuesday morning, let's talk about some news. And we have a statement from the Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, Commander Zelensky, and he stated that up until today, the Ukrainian casualties number 9,000 killed in action. And I think he also said that 100,000 have been wounded. I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that. Maybe I read it from another source. But 9,000 is the statement from the Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. And I don't have any other comments with that number. It is what it is. As this is coming from the Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. We've heard numbers of Russian casualties. I've had what I consider to be very reliable sources, very close to what's going on. They've relayed to me a number of 7,000. The BBC put the number at 15,000. Killed in action, and the New York Times 3-4 weeks ago cited anonymous sources in the Bidenomipolis White House, putting the number at 70,000 from the Russian side of things. So these casualty numbers, compared to, say, even the lowest collective West estimate of the BBC, which put it at 15,000, is far below what the BBC estimates were for Russian casualties. Zelensky, he is the guy that is rumored, and these are rumors, these aren't confirmed yet, and these are rumors from Ukrainian media, that he will be removed from his post as Commander-in-Chief, and he will be appointed as the defense minister for Ukraine. And I imagine as defense minister for Ukraine, he's going to have to be dealing with the likes of Lloyd Austin at the Pentagon and Ben Wallace, the UK, and various officials from the EU to deal with weapons procurement, weapons purchases, sales, lend-lease, stuff like that. And I imagine that Zelensky is going to have to make sure that these weapons continue to flow into Ukraine. And the last thing he would want to do is paint a picture of terrible Ukrainian casualties, which would discourage the collective West from continuing to funnel their weapons into Ukraine and to keep the conflict going. That's just my hunch. The report put out by, I think it was ABC News, that documentary, either ABC News or CBS or NBC. Anyway, they're all the same. It's all the same. Mainstream media garbage. Anyway, they had that documentary that they later retracted a couple of weeks ago, which stated that 70% of all weapons going to Ukraine are disappearing, are vanishing. They're not making it to the front lines. And that 70% number are weapons that are either getting destroyed by the Russian military, getting captured by the Russian military, or are entering the black market weapons sales. And I imagine that a large portion of the weapons from the collective West meant for Ukraine and meant to make it to the front lines are indeed being sold on the black markets. The weapons, the secondary weapons sales industry. And it's not only Ukrainian commanders that are probably getting a cut of this 70%. So if you have $1 billion in weapons sales, 70%, even though ABC News retracted this statement, this documentary, these documentary findings, $1 billion in weapons, 70% is 700 million. That's quite a chunk of change if you just look at $1 billion in weapons that gets sent to Ukraine. And I'm sure it's politicians, both from the collective West and Ukraine. I'm sure you're looking at commanders in Ukraine. I'm sure you're looking at at military personnel in the collective West and in NATO. I'm positive that everyone is getting a cut of this money. And Zelensky, if he is indeed going to be the defense minister, if those rumors are true, well, he's going to want to downplay the casualties as much as possible and continue the movement of weapons to Ukraine, continue the game, keep it going. But Germany is a country that is buckling with regards to getting weapons to Ukraine. I read a statement from Schultz the other day saying that Germany is going to find some more weapons to send to Ukraine, and his message was, don't worry, Zelensky, we'll tap into some of our stockpiles and we'll get something out to you. Well, the Bundeswehr has said that they can no longer supply weapons and military equipment to Ukraine from their own stocks. The German defense ministry said in response to a joint statement by 3 Bundestag deputies who called for more supplies, even to the detriment of their own army. In other words, the Bundestag, the politicians in Germany, are saying, demilitarize us, empty out our stockpiles, but let's get weapons to Ukraine. Now, why would politicians say that? Well, politicians would say that because I would imagine they're getting a cut of everything that's not making it to the front lines of Ukraine. Keep the business going. Keep the business going. Just another month more, 1 more month, 2 more months, 3 more months, another billion, another 5 billion, another 10 billion. Let's keep it going as long as possible. But Germany is running into terrible problems with their stockpiles. I won't go into their energy crisis in this video. Their economy, I think we all know exactly what's going on with Germany. By the way, the euro actually fell to below parity with the dollar. Last I checked, it was at 99 euro cents to the dollar. So 99 cent dollars to the euro. 1 euro worth 99 USD cents. So that was the last time I checked. I don't know if it's gotten up again or if it's gotten back to parity, but gosh, I remember just 6 months ago the euro was, what was it, at 115 to the dollar, $1.15 to the euro, and now it's 1 euro is worth 99 cents. What an epic fall for the European Union. What an epic fall. So Schultz, he is in Canada. Olaf Scholz, the Chancellor of Germany, along with Robert Habeck, they made a trip to Canada. I reported on this a couple of days ago. I actually think the trip is going to be wrapping up today. They were there for 2 days. And they met with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. I believe they were meeting in Montreal. And they were meeting to explore ways to fill the holes in Germany's energy market because of the stupid sanctions that Schultz went along with regards to Russia. And Trudeau, well, meeting with Schultz, Trudeau had some bad news for the German Chancellor. Bad news for Schultz and Habeck, because it's really Habeck who's making the decisions, not so much Schultz. And Habeck, he's got a vision for Germany. 2030, deindustrialized, green utopia. The ends will justify the means, and Germany has to reach this green utopia at all costs. So that's Habeck's vision. Schultz is just too stupid to understand what's going on, or he's too weak to want to save his own country. But Trudeau had some very, very bad news for Schultz. Basically, Schultz was thinking maybe we can get some LNG to Germany, some of that good old Canadian LNG. And Trudeau said, Sorry, Olaf. It's not going to happen. And they just ended up settling on ways to explore alternative energy sources like hydrogen fuel. That was the conclusion of their meeting. Trudeau and Schultz, they're set to travel to Newfoundland and Labrador. To actually today, Tuesday, today, they're set to travel to Newfoundland and Labrador to meet with companies there that are pitching new hydrogen projects that eventually could feed energy to Germany. Germany is interested in green hydrogen, a form of fuel that is produced through electrolysis with no resulting emissions. I did a video on this a couple of days ago, and even more importantly, go to that video, but look at the comments from various energy experts and people who know about hydrogen and energy and LNG and everything in the comments down below. There's so many great comments that explain why this is not going to happen. Hydrogen fuel is not going to happen anytime soon for Germany. And when I mean anytime soon, we're looking at it in the next three to 5 years, maybe even 10 years, if at all, given where we're at with hydrogen as some sort of replacement to gas. And we're talking hydrogen fuel to provide energy for, big industry as well. So not only the consumer market, but also German industry. Just check out that video. I'll put a link for that video in the description box down below, and definitely check out the comments because they explain all the comments underneath that video. A lot of comments explain the dream of hydrogen fuel and why that's not going to happen. Anyway, the LNG from Canada is a no-go, and now you're looking at hydrogen fuel, and basically this was a BS trip from Schultz and Habeck. They're leaving with nothing, to be quite honest, and Trudeau snubbed them. Olaf, I know you came a long way from Germany to come and see me, and I know we may have promised you some LNG, but I've got some bad news, Olaf. You're not getting LNG from Canada. It's just not going to happen. We're actually going to be sending our LNG that we have out west to Asia. Justin, you idiot. I flew all this way to find a replacement for Russian pipelined natural gas. And you now tell me that you're not going to give me some Canadian LNG? Why didn't you just tell me this over the phone, Trudeau, you idiot? Olaf, I know that you must be a little upset with me, but I actually wanted to just kind of hang out with you and meet you, and I just thought it would be more appropriate if we just sat here, man to man, and I broke this news to you that Canada just can't get LNG to Germany. I'm really, really sorry, Olaf, but I do have a consolation prize for you. A consolation prize? Trudeau, you idiot. I don't need consolation prizes. I need LNG. If I don't get LNG, this idiot next to me, Habeck, he's going to take over. He's going to have my job. What is this consolation prize? Well, I suggest, Olaf, that we get on a plane and we travel to Labrador and Newfoundland and take a look at these really interesting hydrogen fuel projects that we have going on. The ones I was telling you about over the phone. Trudeau, you idiot. I can't wait 5, 10, 20 years for hydrogen fuel. I need Canadian LNG now, today, tomorrow. Olaf, it's not going to happen. I'm really sorry. I'm going to send my LNG to China. Anyway, take care, Olaf. Have a nice flight back. Cheers. That was a long exchange between Olaf and Trudeau, but I had to do it. They met face to face, so that was pretty much the exchange between the two of them as well. Uh, Olaf Scholz flew all that way to get nothing, to get a trip to some hydrogen research facilities. That was the purpose of his trip. That's what he got out of this trip. Anyway, UK GDP saw its biggest drop in 300 years. The British economy shrank by 11% in 2020, its largest drop in 300 years. Revised data from the UK Office for National Statistics showed on Monday the previous reading had a 9.3 decline. This happened to be the highest drop since the ONS began keeping records and the UK's largest GDP slump since 1709, the year of the Great Frost, when the country's economy shrank by 13.4%, according to historical data provided by the Bank of England. So this was the GDP drop for 2020 because of the lockdowns for the disease. And 2022, I imagine, will be far worse than an 11% drop. I imagine that 2022 may even surpass this historical record of 13.4% from 1709. So things are not looking good for the UK, but you did have that story from, I believe, a UK military official who did an interview the other day, and he said that UK families, the UK military needs to prepare for conflict with Russia, and that UK military families, British military families, should have an honest discussion about what that means, sending their sons and daughters, their husbands and wives, to fight the Russians. Britain must be prepared to go to war with Russia. That is what this title from The Telegraph reads. Now, of course, a lot of this could be just about stoking up fear so that you can pad up the UK military-industrial complex budget. Absolutely. But here's a fun fact. Here's a fast fact. Russia's military has killed more Ukrainian soldiers than the UK has soldiers in the entire army. And I'm not going off of the 9,000 number from Zelensky that I talked about in the beginning of my video. I'm talking about numbers that we have all heard with regards to the real Ukrainian casualties in this conflict, which, if those numbers are to be believed, and I believe they are far more accurate than the 9,000 number, well, then this fact is indeed a fact. Russian military has killed more Ukrainian soldiers than the UK has soldiers in its entire army. That would be a statement of fact. But I thought that was an interesting article from The Telegraph. As the UK economy is sinking, the military-industrial complex is saying more war. We need more war, more money, more war, more weapons. The EU, they said that they're going to start training Ukraine military. They're considering a big mission for Ukraine, according to Borrell, a big military training mission. The EU is considering establishing a major program to train Ukrainian troops in neighboring nations. The bloc's top diplomat, Joseph Borrell, has said EU defense ministers will discuss the matter during a meeting in Prague on August 29th. I hope it will be approved, Borrell stated on the sidelines of a forum in Santander, Spain on Monday. Of course, it would be a big mission, he said, adding that the training program has to be up to the level of the conflict. It seems reasonable that a war that is lasting and looks set to last requires an effort, not only in terms of supply of material, but also training and help to organize the army, Borrell said. Borrell is just basically saying what the UK military commander said in this interview from The Telegraph, which is more money for the military. more war. As our economies sink in the UK, in the European Union, what we need to do is not save those economies. We don't need to find solutions to our economic problems. What we need is more war, more spending on weapons, more MIC spending. That's the solution. That is what they're saying. That is what Borrell is saying. That is what the article from the Telegraph is saying. That is what they're all saying. Let's spend some more on the military. Let's train Ukrainian troops. Let's buy more weapons. Let's send more weapons to Ukraine. Let's get some more weapons into the black market. Let's continue to fund this war, because the statement from Borrell is very telling. To me, it signals that the EU, the UK, the US, the entire collective West, they don't want to see this war end. This war is good for their pockets. This war is good for their business. And I'm talking about the 0.001% of Western society. This is a windfall of money, of cash, of business. Borrell said, I hope it will be approved, this big, massive training. Of course, it would be a big mission, he said, adding that the training program has to be up to the level of the conflict. It seems reasonable that a war that is lasting and looks set to last requires an effort not only in terms of supplies of material, but also training and help to organize the army. Borrell is wishing for this war to last. He wants this to go on for another 6 months, another 2 years, another 5 years if they can pull it off. That is what Borrell is telling us. That is what the Telegraph article is telling us. They need this war to last. They want this war to last. This war is making a lot of people very, very, very rich. Very rich. So forget about your energy, European Union citizens, UK citizens, forget about your heating, forget about your hot showers, forget about eating meat, forget about eating burgers, forget about it. Cold showers, washcloths, bugs. We need more money to go into the military-industrial complex. Let's see, let's do one more story. Erdogan and his meeting with Zelensky. This is an interesting story. He met, when he was meeting with Zelensky in Lviv the other day, Erdogan is saying that Zelensky is troubled at the loyalty of his inner circle. This is according to Erdogan, and according to what Zelensky told Erdogan. Ukrainian President Zelensky is concerned he is being taken advantage of by someone close to him. Turkish President Erdogan said, citing their conversation during the meeting in Lviv on Thursday. Asked by a farmer about the Ukrainian leader's situation on Monday during a visit to local vineyards, Erdogan claimed Zelensky was very worried there are people around him who deceive him a lot. Yeah, well, I imagine that all the white powdery stuff that Zelensky has been taking is starting to actually have an effect on his mind. So this might explain all the purges of the SBU officials. Could be an explanation of that. We had a very high-level SBU official the other day in a town known as Kirovograd. I forgot the name of the town anyway. A high-level SBU official. He self-deleted himself. Let me just say that he self-deleted himself. And according to Ukraine media, from the Ukraine side of things, they say he self-deleted because he was about to get caught siphoning off weapons, selling weapons on the black market. We also have reports, and I've seen the videos and the photographs of some busts of political circles and military circles, where they were giving I believe like exit visas to Ukrainian citizens so they could avoid getting drafted into the war. I could be wrong about this story, but I do remember seeing it. But if I'm wrong about this, let me know and just scratch that from this video. But I do believe reading a story about that. And I remember seeing videos of just piles of cash. Something like $200,000 or $250,000 was seized from these politicians or these military officials, government bureaucrats who were giving like exit passes, exit documents for people that wanted to avoid getting drafted, something along those lines. Anyway, the Ukraine side of the interwebs, they are saying that this SBU official offed himself because he was about to get busted selling weapons to the black market, and most likely he was selling those weapons, but probably pocketing the money all to himself. He wasn't distributing it out to the people that want their cut, right? So anyway, Erdogan coming out with an interesting little rumor there with regards to Zelensky, and Zelensky feeling that he can't trust the people around him. The walls might be closing in on Zelensky, and it looks like he senses it. Or that white powdery stuff is just getting to him, and he's starting to act out in all kinds of paranoid ways. Let's do a clown world. We had statements, by the way. Actually, let me read you. Putin gave a statement with regards to Darya Dugina's assassination. I don't know if I have it, if I can pull it up here. One sec. And let me read that out to you quick. Putin expressed his condolences to the relatives of Darya Dugina. Journalist Darya Dugina was a talented person with a radiant personality and a true Russian heart, Putin said on Monday. Dugina showed with her actions what it means to be a patriot of Russia, the president added, blasting her murder as a heinous and cruel crime. She was actually awarded a medal as well, awarded an Order of Courage medal by Putin. We also had statements from the UN and from the United States as well. Let me see if I have those handy, if I can read those out. The U.S. condemns the targeting of civilians, is according to the U.S. State Department. The U.S. unequivocally condemns the targeting of civilians anywhere, State Department spokesman Ned Price said on Monday. He made the statement as he commented on the killing of Russian journalists and public figures of Darya Dugina, who died in a car bombing outside Moscow. Quote, "We unequivocally condemn the targeting of civilians. We condemn the targeting of civilians, whether that's in Kiev, whether that's in that village near Kiev, whether that's in Kharkov, whether that's in Kramatorsk, whether that's in Mariupol, or whether that's in Moscow. That principle applies all around the world. I have no doubt that the Russians will investigate this. I also have no doubt that the Russians will put forward certain conclusions. All I can say from here is that Ukraine has denied any involvement, and for our part, we condemn international targeting of civilians anywhere." Okay. 50-50 on that statement. The U.S. State Department did condemn the killing, as did the United Nations as well. By the way, the U.S. State Department, Ned Price, did condemn the assassination. 50% good for them for doing that, but 50%, poo-poo on Ned Price and the State Department because they had to throw in, Kiev and Kharkov and Kramatorsk and Mariupol, and we condemn the killings in these cities in order to imply that Russia is doing the same thing. We understand what they were implying. I just wish that the U.S. could have just said, we condemn the killing of Darya Dugina, and we support Russia, or we are certain that Russia will find the people behind this assassination, and we condemn all assassinations of civilians, including journalists. How come you just couldn't come out with a statement like that, full stop, and just end it there? Why do you always have to poke Russia? Why do you always have to denigrate Russia? Why? How come you just can't, for once, just say we condemn this assassination and just leave it there? All right, a quick clown world. The drug test from Sanna has come up negative. From what I gather, she did not take any of the flower powder stuff, according to various statements coming from Finland with regards to her dancing queen videos, both at a private home and at a nightclub with a rock star. Negative, she wasn't, according to the results, if you believe the results. She's clean, and she said in a statement that she has never done the flower powder ever in her life, even when she was a young student, a young teenager. She said she has never done that stuff. But the clown world has to do with various people on Twitter and TikTok who are posting videos showing their support of Sanna Marin, and they're posting dance videos, and this is coming from Finland, and I believe Denmark, and maybe Norway, if I've got it right. But a lot of women are now posting their own dancing queen videos on Twitter and TikTok so as to show support for Sanna Marin and to say that we stand with you, we support your dancing ways, and we've got your back. Those were the videos that were going viral and trending on TikTok and Twitter. That is the clown world, and it looks like Sanna Marin will avoid the Zelensky curse this time around. Looks like she got out of this mess. But that is the clown world, everybody. I will end it there. The Duran.locals.com. Take care.